Ooh, ho, ho, ho. Hello, hello. This account is so annoying. You are blocked. I feel like half the accounts you guys link in chat have blocked me on Twitter. Why? Why so many haters? New song. Was your KVM switch disconnecting the other day? Nope. I don't have a KVM switch. I use a software KDM. Why not just allow PED use? Wouldn't that lessen any unfair genetic advantage? Because if you start allowing performance-enhancing drugs, you're going to be... It's a very, very, very unsafe environment for the athletes, and you don't really want to encourage that more than it already is, kind of. You're already probably engaged in a lot of unhealthy stuff if you're a professional athlete, but... Did you see the Rittenhouse stuff? Yeah, apparently he's voting libertarian. Uh-oh. Not trying to counter-jerk, but did you see this tweet of her Olympic training? Is this serious or a joke? 112,000 likes. Uh-oh. What is this? Okay, listen, all right? I'm a stick. I haven't been to the gym in a long time, all right? So I'm sorry for the ad-homs, all right? This is not a standard bench press. There's no way you would confuse it for one unless you have never been in a gym in your entire life or watched a video of anybody doing a real bench press in your entire life, right? So whatever this is, I don't know. Some people value like there's like kinetic, like motion, like explosive and explosive. That's what I'm looking for. Some people value explosive movements or training. So if you're doing things like cleans or power cleans or whatever, right, you're looking for a jerk, like a quick reaction. You're not just doing your hypertrophic muscle training, whatever bullshit. So there's a few things that could be happening. Is one, this might be like a particular exercise that she's doing for explosiveness, because she's pushing this up really fast. Okay. Nobody benches like this. This is not an ordinary bench press whatsoever. Okay. Number one. Number two, you also don't know, you don't know what part of her training this is in, right? Like this might be literally what she does to, like drop sets kind of. I don't know if you'd call it something different. It was a totally different exercise, but like at the end of her training day, you have no idea, right? Every lift is probably useful for something. You have literally no idea what the context is of this training, and to try to look at an 18-second video and go, oh, this person is either weak or stupid or doesn't know what they're doing, because they're doing an exercise that I don't recognize is fucking retarded. This person probably just has absolutely no idea about anything. The idea that this has 115,000 likes is fucking retarded. Don't get me involved in that. Yes, it's a Twitter joke though. For 115,000 likes? No, this is not a joke. This is people shitting on her because people, especially the people that would make this tweet, hate women. So nice try though. See ya. Did you see the Michaela shit? Nope. I have no idea what this is. People are saying this is election fraud from Elon. Oh, and Elon Musk PAC is using voter data to help Trump beat Harris in 2024. If a voter in Michigan performs a search on Google, a somewhat shocking ad might pop up. This ad shows a young woman lying in bed late at night when someone else texts him, hey, you need to vote, and then sends the man a video of the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. The man can hear the gunshots, people screaming in the background. As Trump is rushed offstage with blood pouring down his face, the man watching the video types of responses, out of control, how do I start? The ad then displays a website for a group called America PAC. The website says it will help the viewer register to vote, but once a user clicks register to vote, the experience he or she will have can be very different depending on where they live. If a user lives in a state that is not considered competitive in the presidential election, like California or Wyoming, for example, they'll be prompted to enter their email address and zip code and then directed quickly to a voter registration page for their state. For a user who enters a zip code that indicates they live in a battleground state like Pennsylvania or Georgia, the process is very different. Rather than be directed to their state's voter registration page, they instead are directed to a highly detailed personal information form, prompted to enter their address, cell phone number, and age. If they agree to submit all that, the system still does not steer them to a voter registration page. Instead, it shows them a thank you page. So that person who wanted help registering to vote, in the end, they got no help at all registering, but they did hand over priceless personal data to a political operation. Ooh. this might be legal, but I would have to look at the exact, I would have to look at the criminal statute or the regulation from the FEC to know if this is illegal or not. I'm not sure. I do know that you have to be pretty careful, I think, when you're doing like voter registration stuff, I think. Like for the first few canvassing operations that we did in each state when we were just setting up, I think our first canvassing operation was like a get out the vote thing where you're basically just helping people register to vote. And we would try to knock on Democrat doors based on lists we had. But if you knock on a door, you're not allowed to ask them who they're voting for. You're not allowed to ask them what party you're voting for. All you can do is like say, hey, make sure you know to vote. Here's like how to register. And then you hand them information and that's it. I don't think legally, I don't think we were allowed to ever ask a question like, hey, are you voting for this or that? Or are you, do you want to do this? And then like give them different answers based on whatever. For a get out the vote thing, it's just, you just are there to register people to vote. You can try to target Democrats by knocking only on Democratic voter doors, but you can't ask questions once you're out the door, I think. But I don't know, maybe that was like a state thing, or maybe that was just like a volunteer door knocking rule or regulation or something. I'm not sure, but who should Kamala's vice president be? I don't know. I don't have any strong assumptions right now. The Republicans are destroying themselves right now. Yeah. In Ohio, my group asked people, do you mind if we ask who you're voting for? You might be able to ask the question, but if you're just doing a voter registration thing, you can't discriminate based on who they're voting for. Like if they answer one way, you can't give them a thing, and then if they answer another way, you can't give them. I think, don't quote me on this though. I'm giving you, this is like a 15% conviction rate. This is just what I remember they told us, I think, when we were doing the door knocking or the voter registration drives. You weren't allowed to discriminate based on who they were voting for. Did you hear the recession panic today? Nope. Over the past 12 hours, I've had a series of productive conversations with members of the Trump's team, and I am confident he will be the strong ally gun owners need to defend our Second Amendment rights. My comments made last night were ill-informed and unproductive. I'm 100% behind Donald Trump and encourage every gun owner to join me in helping send him back to the White House. Oh my God. Cringe. Oh, I guess it happens on the left and right then. The social pressure. There it is. You're seeing it in real time. That's the social pressure, boys. Have you checked in on Dan, the Intel man? Dan, listen, Dan is long on Intel, okay? Just like I'm long on CrowdStrike. These securities are coming back. These stocks are going to the fucking moon, all right? They're slingshotting right now. They're pulling back really far. Did you really request a refund? From what? Father body slammed and arrested by cop for taking suspicious early morning walk with his 6-year-old son. Saw what happened to Jackson Hinkle? Nope. No clue.
Hey, how you doing today? Yeah? Where you heading off to? Just walking? Any specific location? Okay. Is this your son? Yes. All right. Hey, what's your name?
You can tell me your name.
All right, what's your name, sir?
Johnny.
Oh, no. You know what? Oh, fuck. I'm a cop cuck, I guess. That feels like the most... Oh, my God. Maybe cops are different or my radar's not good. Hearing that is the biggest fucking red flag I think I could imagine. Maybe. Is asking a kid, hey, what's your name? And then the guy next to him was like, you can answer. Oh my God, that sounds like a wild fucking scenario. But it could also be explained. Maybe the dad is really strict about don't talk to any stranger or some shit like that. For retards putting question marks in chat, one of the things that is very difficult is when you have people that are being trafficked or people that are abducted, is it's very difficult to break these people away from their abductors because the abductors are very careful in controlling that person's interactions with everybody, such that like they're not allowed to talk to any other person, they're not allowed to interact with other people, they're not allowed to be on their own, stuff like that. So it can be really, really, really difficult sometimes to have. So hearing somebody like give permission to a kid to just like say his name to a cop, I think that's probably setting off a whole bunch of red flags. If you disagree with me, that's fine. You're just wrong. But now I told you, so now you've got like that piece of information for the future. Most people who aren't 17 years old or who have children or whatever are going to look at you very fucking weird, especially if it's a police officer, especially because you should know if you're not a retarded downy fuck. If a cop is approaching because you're walking outside with a kid at 6 a.m. and he asks your kid something like that, then when you say something like that, it's probably going to set off a couple of alarm bells for the person asking the question. Just as a heads up, okay? Wait, give me... Hold on. Oh, oh. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Sorry. Oh my God. Just a great start to the day. There we go. All right. Wait. Okay. Oh. Wait. Oh. There we go.
You can tell him your name.
All right, what's your name, sir?
Johnny.
Johnny. All right. All right, Johnny, where you come from?
Just walking around.
Just walking around?
Yeah.
All right, enjoying this weather?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well,
Like it should be very obvious to you if you're not socially retarded. And if you are this retarded, then get a caretaker or somebody to follow you around full time that can talk to other people for you. It should be very obvious that the cop right now is wondering if this kid is being abducted, right? If it's really early in the morning, an adult walking around with a young boy, that's just a very strange scenario. And this is what cops are supposed to do. This is the cop's job. This is what you should want cops to do, right? Is if they see an old guy walking around with a kid at 6 a.m. in a neighborhood, yeah, a cop just pulling over is like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? This is exactly what you should want police to be doing, okay? This is exactly in the purview of their job, and this, yeah, absolutely, all right? I know maybe she's not technically a biological male, but I think we should be proud that she's doing so well. In the political commentary space, you go, Destiny, show them your bravery, queen. Thank you. Okay.
we're just checking up on you, man, you know?
Just walk around. What the heck is this deal?
Found it a little bit suspicious, you know? So
What should the guy do in this situation? You just, I don't know. I mean, you can do whatever. You could tell the cop, like, hey, do you suspect me of committing a crime? Nope. Then fuck off and then walk. Now, I don't know if this could be reasonable suspicion. I don't know if it would rise to that level. Maybe it would. If you're walking around with a kid this early in the morning, it might. I'm not sure, actually. I don't know what the test would be for this. But if you don't want to talk to him, then just don't talk to him. But you either don't talk to him and you say fuck off, or you answer the questions that you think you need to alleviate the police officer's concerns. The worst thing you could probably do is a middle ground where you're giving like highly sussy answers, in my opinion. So if you're being like very vague or dodgy about stuff, that's going to make you seem ultra fucking sketch and ultra fucking suspicious.
Well, we're just checking up on you, man, you know?
Just walk around. What the heck is this deal?
Found it a little bit suspicious, you know? So
What?
just walking around.
Walking around is a little
Yes.
bit suspicious.
I mean, technically not really, but I mean, it is pretty early in the morning.
At this point, has the guy done anything wrong? No, but neither is the cop. Nobody's done anything wrong yet in this video.
Just wondering what was going
That's
on.
what we do. We get up early in the morning.
got
just
your
walk
ID
around.
on you?
What do I need an ID for?
Because I just asked you for it.
I don't need to show my ID.
Hold on. Destiny, people who abduct kids generally don't walk around with them. You're permabanned. That is absolutely not the case. Don't say anything about human trafficking if you have no fucking idea. There are plenty of people that abduct people, that walk around with them, that have them for different reasons the person doesn't break away, okay? Don't say retarded fuck shit, okay, if you don't know, okay? Shut the fuck up. There's a reason why if you step into airports or bathrooms in different areas, there'll be signs and like, hey, are you worried that you're being whatever, or something happened to you, like call this or notify this, or there's things you could say, right? Yeah, people can abduct people and have them in public areas. Everybody doesn't break away and scream and run away. That's just not how it always works. Yeah. There's also a lot of abductions and stuff that happens that is related to domestic issues as well. So for instance, a mom and a dad might separate and maybe the mom has sole custody or maybe the father only has supervised custody, but the father has found a way to sneak the child out or the mother's found a way to sneak the child out. And now the kid is being abducted by the other parent, but the kid might not even realize what's going on. Yeah, there's tons of ways that, yeah, fuck off. Why would you type that, okay?
We brought me up earlier in the morning.
You got your ID on you?
What do I need an ID for?
Because I just asked you for it.
I don't need to show my ID.
Okay, if you don't give me your ID, I'm going to take you to jail for failure to identify because I've identified that you've been walking around down here at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay, so everything up to this point was fine by both of them. I think any cop can ask you for an ID at any point in time. I don't know in this state if you have to provide an ID. I don't know if that's the case in any state. But now the cop is saying that if you don't give me an ID, I can arrest you, which means he must have reasonable suspicion of him having committed a crime or matching the identification of a suspect that was called in on. I don't know which state this is in, though. Oklahoma? Nade? Why did I put this? Oklahoma is not a stop and identify state. I don't know if just walking around in the morning with a kid, I don't know if that's enough to hit like the reasonable suspicion standard. I don't know if that would be enough for it. I have no idea. I could be wrong, but I think there are some, like I think if you have a kid, or I think if you're just kids and you're out during a school day, like when you should be in school, that might be enough to get you. Can a police officer arrest me if I'm playing hooky? No, yeah, because that's right. You're not committing a crime. What, are you committing a crime? Is it a crime to? Because you're legally supposed to be in school, but I don't know if it's like a crime. The parents would face the ticket on that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know the answers for any of this. Anyway, okay. Well, now he's fucked because now the guy's saying you have to provide an ID or I'm going to arrest you. So now you either comply or you're going to get obstruction, arrested. You're going to, yeah, at this point you're kind of fucked. But I don't know. I don't know what the reasonable suspicion is here. The guy should ask, am I under suspicion of a crime so that we know for the camera, but I guess we'll see.
ID. Okay, if you don't give me your ID, I'm going to take you to jail for failure to identify because I've identified that you've been walking around down here at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, we do that.
No, you're not. Give me your ID.
I don't have my ID on me because it's at the house.
Okay, what's your name and date of birth?
Huh?
What's your name and date of birth?
I don't know, but you can't run. I don't have. This is a state where I don't have to show my ID.
turn around.
You're gonna do it.
Okay, the guy is correct legally, but he's so standoffish. I don't know why people are so confident doing this around cops. I don't know where this courage, or the stupidity. I don't know where this comes from. I think the guy's right. Yeah, if he's saying like, and it sounds like this isn't a stop and ID state. I don't have to show you my fucking ID. If you're gonna arrest me, fine, fuck it. But like, I don't have to show you shit, and then we can do this at the station. But there's no reason to ever fight with the cops. I don't know why you would do this unless you just want to die.
This in front of my son?
Yeah.
Shouldn't he be confident if he's right? What's the benefit? Do you think that the cop is going to back down? Why?
Turn around.
Are you serious?
Yeah, turn
This
around.
is my son. Let me bring my son home first.
No, turn around now.
Bro, you need to... Here, let me videotape this real quick. I want this on video.
Jesus.
What are you doing to my son? Bro, this is fucked up. Son, it's okay, okay?
It's good.
Another L take from Destiny. True. If you ever get pulled over by the cops and you want to resist, then fight for your life, my dude. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. We'll catch you on the 9 o'clock news. Destiny thinks it's chill to have your rights trampled on. Also, Destiny said he should have started with fuck off. Big reach. It's not chill to have your rights trampled on. You should fight, but you fight in court, not on the street. You're not going to win here, okay? Yeah. Why are you bothered by your rights being infringed? It's not about being bothered or not. You should be bothered. But the correct venue to address this is probably going to be in court, right? Or filing a complaint with the police department. Why would, like, you're not going to, what are you going to fist fight the cop and win out here? Like, the guy looks like he didn't fight at all. He just stepped back to record. What are you talking about? He's literally resisting the entire way back. He's saying, don't touch me. He's backing up. He's grabbing his phone. He's not cooperating, which he feels like he doesn't have to. But I mean, like, if the police already told you if a police officer tells you he's going to arrest you and you start like not cooperating, like you eventually he's just going to beat you up. Like that's what's going to happen, right? The cop never says like, oh, okay, well, fuck, he backed off. You know, he stepped like 10 feet back. I guess we're just going to leave now. Like they've dropped aggro or something. Wouldn't you want the cop to back down if he can't even articulate what you've done wrong? Yeah, of course. So you can ask them, am I suspected of committing a crime? And if the cop says no and he still keeps trying to arrest you, well then fuck it. Then you get arrested, you file a complaint later, or you take him to court. Or he says, well, whatever, and then he leaves because he can't do anything. But you don't understand why he is upset that he is being treated like a criminal in front of his kid. I understand why he's upset, but he's an adult. And if you're an adult, just because you're upset doesn't mean that you do things that can cause you to get killed in front of your kid. Do you agree that the cop is 100% of the wrong here? He might be. I don't know actually. I don't know in this state if you're suspected of committing a crime if you're walking around at strange hours with a kid. I don't know if that's the case. I have no idea. I don't know what reasonable suspicion would be brought in here. I'm perma-banning almost every comment I read, just a heads up, because I don't need you in my channel being fucking retarded. Destiny, if this goes to a complaint or court, absolutely nothing will be done. Dude, that's an insane take. I appreciate that you're white, that you're in college, that you've probably never talked to a cop in your entire life, except for when they come to school to talk to you about not doing drugs. But the more insane take is implying that you have a higher chance of winning on the street against a cop than you do in a courtroom. You're actually fucking retarded, okay? Does Destiny ever not defend the police? There are plenty of times that I don't defend the police. You're just so mind-fucked on it that you think that you have to shit on them in every single fucking circumstance, even when a guy is being fucking retarded. This guy is being fucking retarded. Destiny isn't even disagreeing that the cop is in the wrong. This is like reverse one guy. The chat is getting one guy. Yeah, it always happens with cop shit. The problem is a lot of people in my chat are over-entitled 22-year-old white kids who've never had any situation in their entire life, and they think if they scream and they cry enough when a particular situation happens, that they'll always like have either mom and dad come to bail them out, or like they'll be able to just walk away from a situation. But the reality is that if a police officer is telling you that he's going to arrest you, at that point you just get arrested and you file a complaint later, or you sue him and you go to court. Those are your two best ways to address that grievance. If you decide to fight on the street with a cop, I mean, you can fight and maybe you have some epic YouTube videos made of you. But I mean, like, you're increasing the chance of you getting fucking killed, of you incurring like a greater penalty, of you maybe misunderstanding some part of the law and you actually were in the wrong. And now you're uber fucked. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm just 100% correct on this. If you disagree, you're retarded, and you just shouldn't give advice to anybody about this. If a cop is telling you that he's about to arrest you, right, you are fully within your right to say, hey, listen, I think this is bullshit. I don't think you have to provide shit. Obviously, I'm not consenting to any of this, whatever, and you get arrested, but then you file a complaint later, or you go to court later. You don't fucking fight the cop like a fucking retard, okay? Unless you're James Bond or some shit, and you think you're going to win the fight, and you're ready to hide from the law for the rest of your life.
Bro, I promise you're going to pay for this. Yeah, I promise you that. We're walking around. There's nothing suspicious. I've done nothing criminal. I don't have my ID on me. I told you that. And what did I tell you?
Can you steelman the dude's position? You're out walking with Nathan when he's 7 and cops come up to arrest you. Even if they're in the wrong, what's the correct play here? I mean, if they're trying to arrest you, I mean, like, you cooperate as much as you can. You try to be friendly. You ask if you can make a call for someone to come pick your son up. I mean, like, that's all you can basically do at that point, right? At the point that somebody approaches you that has, like, the authority to kill you, all right, you're basically that person's, like, bitch until they're done or you're through that process. You're not there to fight with the person. At that point, you try to make their life as easy as possible. Hopefully, they'll make your life as easy as possible. That's about all you could do. Anything more is inviting an escalation into a situation where you might end up dead. Unless you think that's epic, or you're a loser and you have nothing going in your life anyway, and you think showing up in a fucking cop assassination vid is like the highlight of your life, then fucking go for it. But basically, as soon as a guy shows up with a gun and tells you to start doing shit, that's it. You're there until the situation is over. Genuine question. Do you agree that the cop should have tried to talk to him more before attempting to arrest him? It seems like in this situation, if the guy is like a child trafficker or whatever, it's reasonable that the cops would feel this way. But the cops should also be thinking, if it's just a dad walking with his kid, it's also reasonable for the dad to feel pissed off, right? Like, why are you asking for my ID? Like, I'm out walking my son. Like, now you're arresting me, like, because I just didn't want to, like, what the fuck? Especially if it's a police officer, if you aren't very clearly articulating, like, hey, listen, I suspect you of committing this crime. You need to cooperate. I'm going to arrest you. Yeah, to go immediately to, like, oh, okay, well, now I'm arresting you after literally, like, 20 seconds like, within 20 seconds of asking your ID, I'm, like, body slamming you. Yeah, it's a wildly huge escalation. When it should be pretty understandable that this guy's going to be really irritated that you're arresting him in the morning for no fucking reason. Especially if it's like a working class person, you can be fucking this dude's whole fucking day up, right? This guy might have to work in an hour or two, and now you've ruined this. Now you've taken him out of the station for processing, and also even if you let him go completely, right? You could have already fucked his whole day up, you know? 100%.
What are you doing to my son? Bro, this is fucked up. Son, it's okay?
Is this just suspicious because it's an uncommon time of day? I don't know. I don't know what reasonable suspicion would be with seeing an adult walking with a kid. I have absolutely no idea.
Bro, this is fucked up. Son, it's okay?
It's good.
Serious question. At what point do you not submit to tyranny or resist it? I mean, if you think you're going to get killed anyway or some shit, then fucking fight away, resist away. But, like, if there are other avenues for you to address a grievance, you always pursue those avenues before going the violent route, because especially against the cops, you're just not likely to win.
Bro, I promise you're going to pay for this.
Would you agree that most normies wouldn't be able to emotionally regulate in this type of situation? Can you bullet point some steps to manage for chat? No, most people would be able to. Most of the videos that you see are either from sovereign citizen dipshits or from people that are trying to get a rise out of the cops. Most of the videos that you see are that. Some of them aren't, but most of them are just people that are, yeah.
Yeah, I promise you that. We're walking around. There's nothing suspicious. I've done nothing criminal. I don't have my ID on me. I told you that.
And what did I tell you?
And you just slammed me on the ground because I was trying to record. What are you rolling me on the ground for?
It's gonna be okay.
Dude, this is ridiculous. Man, look what you're doing to my fucking son. There's my phone right there, too.
It's gonna be okay.
You think it's a video of a guy looking to get a rise off the cops? I don't know. I mean, he's got a pretty combative disposition. But, I mean, you also have a right as a citizen to have a combative disposition. It's on the cop, like, because the cop has so much more authority here and ability to, like, kill here, the onus should be on the cop to manage the situation a bit better, right? He's the one that's stepping in and potentially fucking somebody's day up and potentially killing somebody, and has arguably, like, the state behind him in the event that something goes wrong, assuming he doesn't, like, clearly get caught murdering something. Now the state goes after him. So the idea that, so I mean, obviously as a police officer, it's like the video with the woman with the boiling pot or whatever, where the cop shot her. Like, it was on the cops to manage that situation better before it ever got to that situation.
It's gonna be okay. Hey, buddy. He's just gonna find out who he is, all right? And then, hopefully we'll go from there, all right? Hey, what you got there? I'm not gonna hurt you. All right, don't worry about that. Listen to me. You're okay.
Hey, quit crying.
10 out of 10 times, if you say quit crying to a crying kid, it works. You know that? It's a life hack. It's top secret life hack.
It's gonna be okay.
What is the obsession with cops IDing everybody? For a police officer, when you ask somebody for an ID, the way that okay, if a police, this is true of all people actually, really. If you really think about it, if you're not autistic, but it's especially true for cops. When a cop is asking you anything, when a cop is doing anything, what the cop is just doing is the cop is seeing how you respond. That's basically what he's doing. The cop comes up and they ask you questions. Like, cops don't give a fuck where you're coming from. They don't give a fuck where you're going. They're just curious how you respond to the question. When a cop asks you, like, oh, hey, where are you coming from? Where are you going? If you're like, oh, I was just at John's house on Frankfurt Street and now I'm driving home, on like Smith Avenue, the cop doesn't give a fuck. But if you say some shit like, oh, I was at work and it's like 9:30 at night. And he's like, do you work this late? The fact that you're lying or you sound suspicious is the cop is going to keep asking questions to see, because it sounds like you're hiding something, right? When a cop asks for an ID and you give weird or shady answers off of that, now, if you're not in a stop and ID state, you could do that and say, fuck it. But if you give weird and shady answers off that, the cop could think that you don't want to ID yourself because you're not from around here, and the cop is going to know you're not from around here. He might think that you don't want to ID yourself because you have a warrant, and you don't want the cop to realize that you've got an outstanding warrant. It might be that you don't want to give an ID because you, why else would you not want to give an ID? Probably, those are probably the two big ones. They're just curious if you're from around there, if you're comfortable sharing your information, or two, if you've got like any warrants outstanding. Although I don't even think, when a cop asks for your ID though, I doubt that most of them even check for warrants. I think generally they just want to see it and see how you respond to that question. Like there have been times where I've been ID'd, you're just showing it. They're not like going back and calling it in and checking it. Sometimes they just want to see an ID, like, okay, whatever, and then you just go off. I don't think a cop is always even, I don't think they're always even checking for warrants. If they go back to the car, they will. Yeah, for sure. But what's the least suspicious way you can deny showing an ID? The best thing that you can do if you feel like your rights are being infringed is you have to be firm, you have to be calm, and you have to know what your rights are. That's it. So if a cop walks up to you, if you're not in a stop and ID state, and a cop comes up to you and they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" If you have the right to do this in your state, like you can answer like, "Hey, do you suspect me of committing a crime?" And the cop might say some shit like, "Oh, I was just going to say, okay, I'm not comfortable sharing my name with you. I don't believe I live in a stop and ID state." And the cop might say some shit, "Oh, I just wanted to see what's going on." It's like, okay, well, do you think I'm committing a crime? Am I detained or am I free to go? And if the cop is not being on some fuck shit, you'll say, yeah, you're not detained. And you can say, okay, thank you, officer. And then you walk away. If he says you are detained, but then you cooperate, ask, be polite, but be firm. You don't have to like answer more questions. You don't have to. If he's going to arrest you, he's going to arrest you. Say, I don't feel comfortable talking, whatever. But you just be firm, be polite, and know your rights. Getting combative is just not, you're making it worse for everything. If you're combative, you're making it harder for the cop to do his job. And if it is a polite guy and he's just trying to see what's up, now you're putting him more, like in a defensive or offensive position. So he might make a mistake. You're putting yourself in a worse position because now you might make a mistake. And you're taking a situation that might have been nothing and escalating into something way bigger if you start getting aggressive. Now, hopefully the cop is smarter or better than that, or has better training, and he doesn't let it go to that level. But now you're rolling the dice, and it's just not beneficial. There's just no game theory. There's no outcome-oriented decision-making where getting aggressive is helping you ever. Like, if I'm generally not doing anything wrong, should I just give a cop whatever he wants? Like, is there a real risk that I'll get hit for some bullshit charge? It depends on what you're giving. So here I would say you should be very, 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 very careful. And you should know your rights and you should know your liabilities for everything. But like, if a cop is asking for like an ID or something, like I would have no problem giving my ID to a cop. I don't care. If you want to check, I don't care. Run my shit. I'm fine. But I would be very careful, and I would never consent to any searches unless they've got probable cause to do a search. Also, if they have probable cause, they're probably not asking. They'll just do it. If a cop is asking to start searching your shit, you should probably always say no to that. Just because you have no idea what the context is of what that cop is searching for or what's happening. And even if you're 1 billion% positive that you're 1 billion% positive that you're in the clean on everything, you just have no idea. And as soon as people start searching your shit, you might fuck yourself in ways that you don't realize, right? Maybe somebody just got assaulted, like a block away, and he got hit with a fucking bat, and maybe the cop goes through your car and you have like a bat in your car with like blood on it. And the reason why it's got blood on it is because you like killed some fucking rabid dog or some, I don't know, some bullshit. And now you didn't even realize it, but you've like implicated yourself in a way that now you've got to go to court and start fighting, and you fucked yourself. And it was all on some shit that you shouldn't even let them see, right? But if you consent to it, the cop is allowed, they're allowed to use that in court if he didn't force his way in or anything, if you consented to it. So yeah. Everything I'm saying is very general, and you should always check your particular rights and your particular whatever in a given area. Talk to a lawyer. Don't take anything I say like 100% at face value. But for my personal thing, I would say that like don't. I would say never consent to a search unless you know for a fact, or no, never. You don't. If they're gonna search you because they've got suspicion to be committing a crime, they're gonna search you. They're not gonna fucking ask. Otherwise, why the fuck would you let them do that? Yeah. What was the outcome of this particular thing? What's your worst experience with a cop? I don't know. I've had some rude cops, but like I'm like a pretty polite, unintimidating. Like I'm just like, oh, okay, police officer, whatever. Like I don't think I've ever been in any fucked situations before that I can talk about. Can the contents of your car even be used in court if the cops didn't have probable cause for a search? If you consented and allowed them to search, yes. Weren't you arrested? How was that? I mean, it was pretty chill, but it was also like some small town hick bullshit, so I guess my license was suspended. Cool. So we've got a video with a no news article linked. Oh, here we go. Does anybody want more information? In the dog bat scenario, if you didn't consent, can they use that bat as evidence? I don't believe so, no. If a cop finds good evidence that you committed a crime, but they didn't obtain that evidence legally, I'm pretty sure that can't be used in court. Don't take everything I say at 100%, but I'm pretty sure that you can't. I think all that evidence gets tossed, basically. I think this is why, like, even if you, like, if a cop has probable cause, or no, if a cop has reasonable suspicion that you've committed a crime, and a cop searches your shit, they'll still probably ask, and you can say no, and they'll say, okay, well, we're going to search it anyway. But they still might ask, just because if they didn't have probable cause or that gets thrown out in court, well, if they asked anyway and you gave them consent, then you're still fucked. So it's probably important to say, even if they do have reasonable suspicion, that you can say like, okay, I mean, I don't consent to any searches, and then you get out and let them do their shit. Like, I don't think there's any reason to ever give that verbal consent. You can just say, I don't consent, and then you step out and you let them do their shit, but, yeah. Oh, hold on. 7 days ago. Oh, wait, let me read this real quick. Are police allowed to take your keys at a traffic stop? I see loads of videos of cops taking keys and people saying it's a violation of their rights. I'm giving such general overview, okay? Ask a cop, ask a lawyer if you want. I believe that when a cop has reasonable suspicion that a crime has been committed, then the cop is allowed to detain people temporarily in order to do a brief investigation to check for a crime. In the course of that detainment and investigation, I believe that the police officer is allowed to take steps to make him feel safe. That means that if a cop is going to detain you, I think that a cop might have the right to handcuff you or have you sit down. I think he might have the right to search you and remove a firearm from you if you're carrying one. And especially in the case of bikers, and maybe even with vehicle drivers, they might ask you to set your keys down or to hold your keys while they do an investigation because they're worried you'll drive off or some shit. I believe that police officers have the right to demand that if they have you detained because there's reasonable suspicion you've committed a crime and they're doing investigation. I believe they have the right to do that. But check your particular rules or regulations or, yeah. Around 6 a.m. on July 4th, John Sexton was walking with a 6-year-old son who has autism. He was stopped by 2 officers for suspicious activity before being thrown to the ground and briefly detained. Sexton claimed the incident violated his rights and traumatized his son. He's been a cop for Halloween for the past 2 years. That's what he's been wanting to be when he grows up. That's what he says, and now he's scared of them, Sexton said. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation is still looking into if the use of force was justified, but in the meantime, viewers have sent Coco 5,800 messages, emails, and phone calls. Coco 5 is probably the name of the thing. Coco 5, 100 messages, emails, and phone calls complaining about other cases involved. One of the police officers. The officer has a history of other complaints, including from his former colleagues, according to the sheriff. The deputies that were underneath him, they had lost faith in him as their leader. Yeah, and so I demoted him back later. Yeah, so it sounds like this particular officer probably had issues, so... The officer ended up moving to a position that wasn't with the public. Before leaving the sheriff's office, he eventually ended up with a position at the Watonga Police Department. I wonder what the... Gee, I feel like if you get fired or demoted for being a shit cop in one place, you probably shouldn't be able to be hired in another place. How much law do cops actually learn at the academy? I don't know. They should know all the applicable laws to what they're doing, but if you watch videos of cops sometimes, it's pretty clear that police officers don't always know all of the legal rights that their people have that they're arresting, and they don't always know all of the obligations that they have. Cops don't always know all of these things. But again, you don't know. There's not much point fighting the cop over it because it's unlikely you're going to win in the street. Destiny was just trying to lean right on this take as a hedge for throwing out in the Olympic thing. Goodbye forever.
But as far as the cop is concerned...
At Destiny, why wouldn't a cop just exploit saying there's probable cause to search if they really wanted to? I mean, if you believe that, then you're fucked anyway. You can't... That's a question that is indicative of a toxic and retarded thought process. Like, if you ask that question, it's evidence of an extra chromosome, learning disability, severe lack of intelligence, brain injury, substance abuse, or something is wrong with your brain if you ask that question. If you... Like, just... Because all you would have to do is think one step past the question you're asking to realize how unfathomably fucking retarded your question is, right? Destiny, this cop came up to me and he said he had suspicion of committing a crime, but I think the cop could just be lying. Okay, so what about that? Well, so then I told the cop that I'm not going to let him do it. Okay, so the cop was willing to lie about having the suspicion of you committing a crime, and then you told him that you still didn't consent to a search. Well, if he was willing to lie about the first thing, what's he going to do next? You think he's going to walk away? Like, what a retarded fucking question. If the cop lies about it, then you have to challenge it in court. That's your avenue for challenging what the police officer says. That's it. You're not going to win a debate. It's not a debate. You can't win a debate on the street with a cop over, I don't actually think, yeah, blah, blah. You can't do that. You have a complaint, file a complaint with the police department, or you take it to court after. That's it. That's all you can do. Like, if he's willing to lie about reasonable suspicion, he's probably not the kind of guy that you can sit and have an argument with anyway. Like, what do you, like, yeah. Jesus.
Crime wasn't the fact that he was just out and walking his son. It was the fact that he did not immediately bow down and carry an ID to give to this cop so that he could get his ID fixed.
Dude, I can't even believe you're doing this to my son because he was walking around.
If the search is deemed unlawful, then does the evidence get thrown out? That's my understanding, yes. Tim Pool is saying that the boxer is male. You should see a justification for it. You can link a video if you want.
On 4th of July.
Have a seat and I'll talk to you. Hey, buddy, come here. You're okay. Listen to me. You're okay. Hey, quit crying.
What do you think about how most cases are plea bargained? I understand your argument that litigation is the right route, but few cases go to court, or am I mistaken that? Plea bargains are probably fine. The reality is the court and the jury system, like, you don't really have the resources to prosecute, to take every single case to trial. And also, my guess is with the vast majority of arrests, people are probably pretty clearly in the right or wrong. Like, it's probably not a question, so it's easy to just plea shit out. It makes things more convenient for literally every single person involved.
People that don't want to identify typically are involved in criminal activity.
So that is a 1 quadrillion % bullshit ass statement. I mean, like, it might be true as a heuristic, but unless they have an obligation to identify, you can't just arrest somebody because they don't want to identify. And the idea that you would assume that somebody's a criminal just because they don't want to identify, that's also kind of I mean, like, you can have that particular thought and you can ask them more questions if you want, but, like, you can't arrest somebody for that just because they don't want to show you a fucking ID, assuming they don't have an obligation to do so.
People that don't want to identify typically are involved in criminal activity. I've known this individual to be involved in theft in the city of Canton.
There has been no criminal activity.
Okay, listen to me.
Bro, we were just walking, and when you
Okay.
came up, you didn't hear what he said
Shut
when
up
you first
and
came
listen
up,
for
though,
a
did you?
minute. No, shut up and
Okay,
listen.
what?
Okay. So I saw y'all walk down.
Oh, I already know. I feel like I know how this ends. I know how this ends. I know how this ends. Oh shit, this cop's gonna get fired too. Maybe. Hold on. They're about to let this guy fucking go because they have no reason to hold him whatsoever. Is that what's gonna happen? They're not gonna hold him on obstruction because they didn't have a reason to fucking even pull him over initially. That's my guess. But we'll see. I don't know. The fact that he's got his thing open here and he's talking to, like, but we'll see. I could be totally wrong. Let's find out. I feel like they're about to let this guy walk because they have no fucking reason to have this dude arrested. But we'll see.
The alley behind. I saw y'all when I was headed into the office. Walk down, walk across the street.
Yes, sir.
Then I got my unit ready. While getting my unit ready, man, I see y'all back in the alley you left from, okay?
We always walk from that alley around it.
Okay.
That's our house is around that. Is that why we do that? I promise. We do it.
Hold on. LOL, watch how Destiny 180s here. Nothing that I said before. Okay, just remember, if I'm reading your comment, I'll probably permaban you as well, okay? Nothing is being 180'd. At no point have I said the police officers were in the moral right the entire time. The police officers were in the legal right the entire time. I've never said any of this ever. All I told you is that you don't fight with cops. You just don't do it. It's not a good idea. Even if the cop is totally in the wrong, you don't fight with a cop. That's all I'm saying. If you can't handle hearing that because you're so privileged or spoiled or whatever that you think you should be able to fight every single time or whatever, that's fine. You can do it. Get killed. I don't give a fuck. But I'm just saying it's generally never a good idea to fight with a cop. Okay?
Do it every morning. I'm surprised you haven't seen me.
So here's the thing. That's fine and dandy, man. But listen, we have people.
Why do you think police departments don't fire officers who have multiple violations? Instead, they move them around. I mean, there's two answers to that. One, you could say that, like, all cops are evil and they protect evil people because they like having evil people around them because evil loves evil company. The other answer that's probably more realistic is that, like, probably, like, a lot of people fuck up at their job and they have a record of fuck ups, but, like, people are hungry for employees. You looking for people, you hire people. It's probably more likely to be that. I mean, it happens probably in literally every single industry, but obviously with police officers, it's way more noticeable because they have a right to, violence against the public and shit, and that's a really bad person to have had fuck up multiple times. But yeah, I don't know. It just I don't know why for some things it seems like, yeah, it's probably it's like when somebody, like, kills somebody in a drunk driving accident and then you find out, like, how the fuck did this guy have, like, 7 DUIs? Why the fuck why the fuck was this guy still allowed to drive? Like, I don't know, dumb shit happens.
Always walk from that alley around it.
Okay.
That's our house is around that. Is that why we do that? I promise. We do it every morning. I'm surprised you haven't seen me.
So here's the thing. That's fine and dandy, man. But listen, we have people that are going down up and down these alleys, spray painting and tearing shit up.
Yes, sir. I understand that.
Okay? It's the 4th of July, man.
But
Okay,
if he would have came up and said
stop,
something like,
stop.
hey, but he just goes,
Hey.
I've been called for
That's just because there's graffiti here. It doesn't mean you, like, was there a recent call about graffiti? Did you see me participating in the crime of graffiti? Did you, like, now you've detained the guy, right? You don't have any, he didn't have any spray paint bottles on him, right? You didn't see him doing anything. You didn't see him drop anything off, did you? Like, what, like?
what do you say, investigation of something? And I'm like, what?
Yeah, okay, so here's the deal, though. Listen, when I got there, I didn't play games with you. I asked you what y'all were doing. You said, okay. I've worked here. Yeah, then that's fine, dude.
Right.
I love it that you're out with your kid. But it is a little odd, okay? So when I ask you for your ID, you say, I don't have any ID. So what's your name and date of birth? That's all you have to give me. Give me your name and date of birth.
The cop was 100% correct right up until the end. He can think it's odd, and he should, and that's fine. He can go up and talk to him, and he should. That's fine. Community policing. Walk up, talk to the dude, see what's going on. You can ask the guy for an ID and a name, but it's Oklahoma. He doesn't suspect he's committed a crime. You can't demand it. The guy doesn't want to show you shit unless you've got suspicion of committing a crime. Then you have to walk the fuck away. That's it. I don't think you can demand it here, unless he matches the description of a suspect on a 911 call, or unless he's got reasonable suspicion of him committing some kind of crime. And I don't think he has either of those things. Actually, I know he doesn't, because if he does, he would have already presented it by now. So he clearly doesn't, and he's probably about to let this guy walk because he realizes how fucked this is. Yeah.
For your ID, you say I don't have any ID. So what's your name and date of birth? That's all you have to give me. Give me your name and date of birth. What is your name and date of birth?
I know, but this is because
This is your last offer.
You're asking me right now? I thought
what
you were
is?
saying.
At this point, bro, you've already gotten fucking body slammed. Don't give him shit. Say, fuck it, arrest me. Let's go. If you're already this deep in, let's go to the station, my dude.
My name is John Sexton, 12.
He shouldn't have fucking told. At this point, he should have said, listen, bro, I'm arrested. We'll go to the station. We can go do it down there because you've already fucked my day up enough. But, okay, well, we gave him the name.
86.
Okay, set time.
12:30 of 86.
See, the only scary thing at this point now is that let's say that the guy does have an outstanding warrant. Now the cop could theoretically ding him on it. I don't know. I mean, if it's outstanding, then the warrant is already legit. But this cop is already, your shit is already fucked up. Why would you encourage him to keep fighting? I never said anything about fighting the cop. I just said you don't have to turn your name over to him if the cop doesn't have a reason for suspecting you've committed a crime. And he's already detained you / almost arrested you, so.
As you know, the mainstream media is only going to give you a little bit of information. I was able to get you the full body camera footage to give you a full perspective of what happened, and they're not even releasing the police officers' names. But don't worry about that, because I got you back, and on top of that, we're going to see some TikToks, and look at the buzz that this event has created in this small town in Oklahoma.
All while Sexton's son watched and wailed.
Hey, I got a question. Why in God's name are you still working?
The name.
He loves to be with it.
But I didn't do no criminal activity.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't do nothing.
You thought the news was bad?
What would happen if they clearly detained him illegally and it turned out that he does have a warrant for something? Do they have to kick or keep him? I'm not actually sure at that point. Cop detains me illegally, but finds warrant. I don't know at that point what happens. I'm not sure, actually. I don't know. They were really suspecting a stolen kid there, hey? They could have. Who knows? They could have had any number of suspicions. It's weird to see. It's probably weird in most areas to see an adult and a kid walking around at 6 a.m. in the morning. That'd be my guess, right? They could have had any number of suspicions when they first went and spoken to him. But obviously the cop is like escalating like crazy for no reason, and now he realizes he's fucked up, obviously. I think it doesn't seem like he had any good reason to continue past that point.
Tonga 5 Weatherford. Show 1 detained.
Clear.
Five Weatherford. Check 44s on a John Sexton. 12/30/1986. Okay, listen, man. As long as you don't have like a bad warrant, I don't want to take you to jail.
Yeah, because he's gonna let him go. I don't want to take you to jail because you can't take him to jail for anything because he hasn't done anything wrong. Like this is bullshit, right? The cop basically sees a guy. This woman said it at the start of this video. I don't remember what she said, but this cop is like an ID fetish. Like, I want to run your ID. I want to be able to see if you have any warrants. It's like, I'm sorry, my dude, but you need reason to ask this guy for an ID. In Oklahoma, you have to have a reason. If you didn't commit a crime or you're not suspecting you're committing a crime, you can't just start running fucking everybody's ID to check and see if you can like hit the lottery and get a warrant or some bullshit. You can't do that. So yeah, so now the cop's saying like, okay, I'm gonna run this. If there's nothing, you can go because he arrested him for no fucking reason because he's detained him for no fucking reason. Yeah.
12/30/1986. Okay, listen, man. As long as you don't have like a bad warrant, I don't want to take you to jail. I don't like taking people to jail. I don't like doing what I had to do to you in front of your kids.
Yeah, but you don't like taking people to jail? What, you escalated this into like a body slam situation in like 25 seconds when there was absolutely, I don't even know if you had reason to ask for an ID. Like,
but you caused it. All you had to do was provide the information asked. No, listen.
he didn't have to legally provide that information though. And I'm pretty sure at this point, if he did have to legally provide it, the cop would have given a reason for it, but the cop hasn't, so there's no way.
Shut up and listen just a minute. We had reasonable enough suspicion to identify you. That's all.
What was it? So now, okay, so now he's given the keyword. So he says they did have reasonable suspicion to demand an ID. For what? Reasonable suspicion of what crime?
All that matters.
But if I do criminal activity.
Correct. And the guy in the back is correct. If you've got reasonable suspicion of me having committed or been conducting criminal activity, the guy in the back is correct. What does the cop say? You heard him in the back say that.
Suspicion to identify you. That's all that matters.
But if I do criminal activity.
Yeah.
But I didn't do no criminal activity.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't do nothing criminal walking with my son.
Correct.
Okay.
Probably
it's
not.
not
Yeah.
criminal, but we still have reasonable enough suspicion to identify you.
Reasonable suspicion of what, you fucking retard? What is reasonable suspicion means a particular thing. It doesn't mean you're just suspicious of a guy. It's reasonable suspicion of having committed a crime. Reasonable suspicion of what? You can't just say he looks suspicious. That's not, you're just using words there. This is like debating a chat room. Like when I looked up reasonable and suspicion in the dictionary and this is what it said, Destiny. Like,
And if I want to give the ID, I can.
No, it's not a if. The state is not a if you want to
So
state.
it's not a,
ooh, I think it is. Unless I'm missing something or it's, if this is Oklahoma, I think this is an if you want to state. Yeah, what is it called? Stop and identify? This is the same thing we read before. I don't know what the date of this page is, unless it's changed. But this is Oklahoma. It's not a stop and identify state. In other words, you are not required to reveal your identity to anyone, including a police officer, merely to satisfy their curiosity. The second issue is far more common. If you're suspected of committing a crime, then that might happen, sure. But again, if you haven't done the reasonable suspicion, like...
it's a state that they can ID you at any time.
It's not a. This is not a shall ID state. But once you're being detained, and
What was I being detained for?
criminal, like we don't
That's the answer. Yeah, okay. Once you've detained me, yeah, of course. But you need a reason to detain me. What is he being detained for? What did you detain him for?
state. But once you're being detained, and
What was I being detained for?
criminal, like we don't know what's going on, but we can call it criminal activity.
Okay, like this guy should be fired. 100%. This cop can never work again, right? If you don't even like, if there's anything you should learn as a cop is when do you get to arrest somebody, right? Or when do you get to like invent? Like you should have an idea of like what that standard is. It can't just be like, well, you know, whenever we think there's like weird shit going on. That's not a real answer. This has to be like in cop school. This has to be like day one of like, when can you pull somebody over, right? This has to, what do you do in cop school? Like this has to be a day one thing, right?
What was I?
It's not a. This is not a shall ID state. But once you're being detained, and
What was I being detained for?
criminal, like we don't know what's going on, but we can call it criminal activity.
That's not.
No, you can't.
But I didn't do criminal activity, sir. That was
Okay, man.
Thrown down like that in front of my son.
I didn't even throw you down. If you want to know the truth.
You hallucinated that actually. You tripped over my legs and arms.
I did. And
No.
you rolled me on the ground, sir.
I rolled you on the ground to.
2 times.
I was actually doing it to protect you. I was doing it to protect you, sir. That's what he's about to say. I was doing it to protect you so I could arrest you easier.
Making sure you don't have any weapons in there, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, that was just a little overdoing it when a kid's right there. Is all I'm saying.
Well, don't you think maybe next time a cop says, "Hey, what's your
I
name?"
have my ID though. That's what I was telling you. I don't have it on me.
But I did ask you what's your name and date of birth is. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about it, Mr. Sexton.
Do you think the cop realized he's getting fired? My guess is going to be that now I'm cheating because I already read the article, but like he's got a body cam running, he's acting pretty brazen, and he's got a partner with him. So like just on those facts alone, I would assume this cop has probably done this a lot. That'd be my guess. My guess is also that this cop is also probably a big power tripper. That like he's the boss and you've got to show him when he asked and blah blah blah. He's probably got like a huge fucking attitude problem. So most people probably comply because most people do comply with cops. But this just happened to be the time that the video leaked and now he should get completely fucked for this. The fact that you can't answer a guy about like reasonable suspicion should be a huge red flag that this guy needs to not be working. Go push paperwork somewhere. Yeah.
What'd you say your first name was?
John. I think I either got court on the 8th or the 16th or something like that.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Did he just say, I think I have court on the 8th or 16th? Oh, wait. Hold on. Why did I say, oh, that doesn't fucking matter? The only thing you're looking for here is like a bench warrant. Like if there's like a warrant out because he's missed a court date or something, but if he's got court scheduled, you can't do shit to him. That doesn't matter.
John. I think I either got court on the 8th or the 16th or something like that.
Okay.
Court like a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
To county court?
Yeah. Blaine County.
Okay, you got warrants out?
Being honest, I still don't understand the purpose of stop and ID laws. It seems like they still require reasonable suspicion for detention in order to ID. Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look. I wasn't even aware that stop and ID laws existed in the U.S., so I didn't even know. And apparently they're in a lot of states. So stop and ID law, USA. At Destiny, you could have worded it better. Of course, you should act in your own best interest, but it feels like the bar is so low for the cop and much higher for nobodies is the way that it comes off. Yeah, sorry. When I'm giving you a perspective, my perspective is from like a personal survival perspective, okay? As somebody that didn't have everything fucking handed to him in life, okay? If you're like a spoiled, rotten fuck who's used to having everybody deal with you, then for you, you have the privilege of going through life thinking what's fair and what's not fair, and then always acting with the strongest conviction you have based just on what's fair or unfair, assuming that nobody else is going to fuck you over, okay? I tend to approach things from a, well, how can this person fuck me over if I do the wrong thing, okay? So if I'm dealing with a cop, well, at the point that the cop has me, okay, under threat of death, I'm basically doing whatever the fuck he wants. Because as much as I want to fight him at that particular point in time, even if he's completely in the wrong, the consequences for fucking around at this point could be me getting killed. And that's just not worth it to me. Now, if you're used to mom and dad bailing you out all the time, or you've never had severe consequences or anything, whatever, maybe you think that like, oh, well, if he's wrong, I'm going to sit here and blah, 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 blah. You can do that if you want, I guess. But for anybody that, like, in my opinion, it's just an EV negative way to live. It doesn't matter that the bar, like, the reason why the bar should be higher for cops because they have more force and ability to kill and escalate in a situation. So it should be higher for them. But to an individual, the onus is on you to keep yourself alive because you're more interested in your survival than any other party that ever exists on the planet. You should be more interested in your survival. So you should do the things that optimize and maximize your survival, assuming that the other person might not. Because they might not. Why would you want to risk running into a cop with a huge fucking attitude problem who just wants to fucking kill you that day? Like, you might be right, and now you're dead. Like, well, who cares?
See, and that's what I'm saying, man. I've been doing this. You got warrants out of Woods County.
They don't pick me up. I was just
okay, but here's the thing, man.
It's a ticket, that unpaid ticket.
Okay, but here's the thing, man. Typically, when a cop's out with somebody and they don't want to identify, it leads us to believe that you are involved in more criminal activity than we need to. So that's what.
Like, if I'm understanding correctly, okay, I haven't had a criminal lawyer correct me on this, so I'm assuming it, right? Everything the cop is saying is fine. It can make somebody seem suspicious. It can make you think that they're not trustworthy. That's fine, but you still have to be able to, like, give a reason for why you think, like, there is a reasonable suspicion they're committing a crime. There's a lot of things that could make a person shady. That doesn't give you the right to arrest them or detain them.
That's why you heard me saying what I was saying, because I'm narrating for the camera. This is not my first day on the job, okay?
Yeah, I fucked up a whole lot in the past. Don't worry, sir. You're one fuck up in a long line of fuck ups. But how can you fight for your survival if corrupt cops exist and can kill you so much easier than you can resist them? The system is not in your favor. The system, I don't know what to say. I can't tell if you're not understanding. I don't know what to say. I don't think I can communicate with you. Something is broken in your brain or my brain. Even if the system is broken, you would rather a judge fuck you than a cop fuck you, okay? You'd rather get fucked in court than fucked up by a cop. Because if a cop fucks you up, he might kill you. And if a judge fucks you up, you might lose a case, whatever. But you have so many more options available to you to navigate the system than you do to fight with a cop. If you don't understand that, then fundamentally we just can't communicate with each other, okay?
And I'm going to tell you right now, man, I'm straight up with people. If I tell you to do something, you better be doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, but...
hey, you know what?
Wouldn't the reasonable suspicion be of the crime of kidnapping? My guess is going to be, now I don't know 100%, but my guess is going to be to have a reasonable suspicion of somebody kidnapping somebody the kid probably has to give some indication of that. Or you have to like find a guy with like, oh, hey, that kid walking behind you, I notice you have tape over his mouth and his hands are cuffed, right? Or, hey, I notice you have a kid in your back seat and he's like tied up and screaming, right? These would probably give you reasonable suspicion. A person just walking with a kid, even at a weird time of the day, I doubt rises to reasonable suspicion. I don't know that 100% though. But I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. Well, maybe we can look this up. I don't know. We can find it. Reasonable suspicion, cop walking with kid at night alone. Because keep in mind that you're giving a reasonable suspicion that like a cop could literally pull over every single parent walking with their kid, right? There's no way I'm gonna be able to ask. This is way too specific of a question.
What? Maybe teach.
I don't have to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just thought my son being there, it wasn't the right time to do all this shit.
Yeah, well, you know what, man? At 5:30 in the morning.
Bro, I get up 4 o'clock every morning.
No, that's cool, man.
4 o'clock at night. I get up at 4 o'clock.
But put yourself in our position. We have our job is to make certain that shit's not going on down here. We see all the spray painting. So I literally saw y'all cross.
Hold on, wait. It's better to look up what counts as probable cause in Oklahoma. So reasonable suspicion, I believe, I don't know if there's one lower, but reasonable suspicion is one of the lowest, if not the lowest standard of evidence needed for something. Reasonable suspicion is all you need to detain somebody and see what's going on. Probable cause, that's a high enough threshold that you can arrest somebody, right? So I believe that indictments are done off the standard of probable cause. I believe it's what probable cause versus reasonable suspicion. Probable cause means that a reasonable person would believe that a crime was in the process of being committed, had been committed, or was going to be committed. Okay, I think this is the standard for an arrest or an indictment, and I believe an indictment is basically the same thing as an arrest. Like, I think the standard is the exact same. Probable cause is enough for a search or arrest warrant. It's also enough for a police officer to make an arrest if he sees a crime being committed. Okay, reasonable suspicion has been defined by the U.S. Supreme Court as the sort of common sense conclusion about human behavior upon which practical people are entitled to rely. Further, it has defined reasonable suspicion as requiring only something more than an unarticulated hunch. It requires facts or circumstances that give rise to more than a bare imaginary or purely conjectural suspicion, right? Which so far it seems like that's all the cop has. While I've seen graffiti here and you're walking in the day with a kid, like I have a hard time imagining that rises to the level of even reasonable suspicion. That'd be my guess.
Right here at Prouty.
Indians around here running around doing that bullshit.
I got you, bro.
Let's say that a cop gets a call that someone was spray painting a wall and they walk by someone and they hear cans clanking when somebody walks by. Would that count as reasonable suspicion for the cop to stop him? My guess is absolutely at that point, yes. Absolutely. You'd be, the cop would be able to detain you at least and do an investigation, yeah.
Going on down here. We see all the spray painting. So
he keeps saying the spray painting shit, but like, okay, do you think that we were spray painting? There's no paint on us. We have no paint cans. We don't match any subscriptions. You don't even know if the spray painting just happened. Like, how old is this? Like, this is a...
I literally saw y'all cross right here at Prouty.
Indians around here running around doing that bullshit.
I got you, bro.
Fucking Indians, man.
We're from the news out of possible out of Woods County. We'll call them verified.
The Supreme Court has ruled that certain factors can be seen as suspicious, like being in a certain area at night / after hours, or in a neighborhood known for drugs, etc. Yeah, I'm sure there can be, for sure. But, yeah, it's up. You should know your rights, okay? Why does he keep saying spray paint? That makes me think he didn't actually believe the dude was kidnapping the kid. I think he's just grasping at straws now. He's just trying to articulate some reason why, but like pretty clearly it seems like it was, I don't know. Actually, wait, do they? Oh, she has the footage at the very beginning of this. Maybe we can see what they say when they pull over. But hold on, let's finish watching.
Was clear. How you getting along over there, boss?
Did anyone ever say kidnapping, or was that the assumption we made at the beginning? That's the assumption that I made at the beginning. Or if it's 6 a.m. and a guy's walking with a kid and a police walks up and he's like trying to talk to the kid, that'd be my assumption, is that there's some weird shit going on, or just looks kind of suspicious. We weren't given a warrant or anything. That was just where the video started. That'd be my assumption. And then the answers that the dad gave in the beginning were kind of sus. Were very, very, very sus. But it doesn't matter. None of even those like weirdly suspicious or whatever answers, none of that gave rise to like detainment, or we didn't even come close to that threshold yet.
Huh? Yeah. He's got possible warrant.
What happened to all the people in chat harshing on Destiny for his OG take? Real quiet now. Yeah, because I banned like 20 people.
So when I was headed in, I saw him walk down the alley. And then when I moved my truck around to the covered stuff, you know you can park back there if you want, right?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, you can, man. When I moved my truck back around there, like, I turned, so this is Prouty. They were already walking.
Would it be suspicious for a man and a child to book into a hotel room sharing a bed? I've seen examples where people have called the cops and stuff like this. Wait, what? Why? No? Can you verify that cops technically don't have to specify why you're being arrested? People in chat are confused on that, but it may be Illinois. I don't think a cop has to articulate why you're being arrested or why you're being detained. They just have to have a reason that maybe they have to put in a report, or they've got to be able to show in court. I don't think they have to tell you, but we can look this up. Does a cop have to tell you why you are being detained? I don't think they do. The law requires police officers to read their Miranda rights. They can stop you with any reason. With a formal arrest, police may ask you a series of questions. The law does not permit the police to remove you from an area unless they have probable cause. Fuck. I don't know. Don't they technically have to tell you to read your rights? No, they don't. You can read somebody their Miranda rights without ever telling them why you're arresting them. Or you can read the rights, but I don't know if they have to. Fucking Quora. Some of these dog shit websites are clogging the fucking internet. Can we look up like, well, let's think. So police are a part of the executive law enforcement function in a state. That means that for officers in police departments, they're not going to be posting laws. They'll be posting regulations, right? Or, yeah. So shouldn't there publicly be published like Florida police officer, suspect regulations, rules? Isn't there like some I think the Miranda rights can be given as late as when they exit the cop car to go to the jailhouse. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this. The cop might never actually have to read you your Miranda rights, maybe, but I think that the reason why cops read you your Miranda rights is because if they don't Mirandize you, then whatever you say or do, they can't use in court. Like, I don't think the reason they Mirandize you is to arrest you. I think the reason they Mirandize you is so that if you do say or do something afterwards, they can use it against you in court. Whereas if they don't, then whatever you say or do they can't be applied. You have to inform somebody. I think. Okay, so this is just the laws, the statutes, but maybe the laws are clear enough that you don't actually need like... Miranda applies only when you're in custody and the police are interrogating about the case. Don't cops usually Mirandize you before they arrest you? So like if you're detained, they do an investigation and their reasonable suspicion rises to probable cause and they go to arrest you and take you to the station. Can't they Mirandize you as they arrest you? I'm trying to think if I've ever seen this happen in a video, if I've only seen this happen in TV shows. Because in TV shows, usually they Mirandize you as they arrest you. But I think in interrogations, I've seen cops Mirandize people before the interrogation. So I'm not actually sure. Generally, cops don't have to tell you what your charges are. Your charges will be read when they have an arraignment with a judge. Miranda rights are read when you're being lawfully detained / arrested and being questioned about anything that could incriminate you. Okay, maybe that's it. Maybe, yeah. Nope, retard take. They only have to Mirandize when questioned. If you say shit that free will and can be used, they do it in case they ask a question and to remove any questionable. Plenty of case of people getting off. Nice grammar. Miranda warnings is to maximize the usability of interrogative evidence. There are exceptions for things like verbal utterances and stuff, but also weird restrictions. There was a case where police intentionally wondered out loud about how they needed to give a girl a Christian burial to get a confession, and it was thrown out. Huh. Well, okay. Fuck it. Let's finish this.
Out of the alley at Noble. They walked, and then they just turned around, and he went right back into the same alley he came from. And he was hanging around on the, it'd be like 101, 102 or something like that. I'd have to go back and look at the address. But he's hanging around back there where they cook all that barbecue and stuff. So that's why we're making contact with him. Yeah. When people don't want to identify
what?
And he was hanging around, and then they just they were already walking out of the alley at Noble. They walked, and then they just turned around, and he went right back into the same alley he came from. And he was hanging around on the, it'd be like 101, 102 or something like that. I'd have to go back and look at the address. But he's hanging around back there where they cook all that barbecue and stuff.
I think you actually can. I think you can detain people if you're a police car and you're driving through a neighborhood and like somebody sees you and they like run. I think you can detain people, not arrest people, but you could detain people of that. But like if you go to the beginning of this video, like the guy's clearly not avoiding the cops. Like he comes out, he answers questions, he's not running or doing anything. So that's like immediately.
So that's why we're making contact with him.
Yeah.
When people don't want to identify, typically there's something else going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Too early for this shit.
It's like 10.
Huh?
You have one, he's got like 10.
Yeah. He didn't want to identify. He got his ass tripped up, put on the ground.
What was he doing?
So when I came in, I come from the...
How did he describe that?
It's like 10.
Huh?
You have one, he's got like 10.
Yeah. He didn't want to identify. He got his ass tripped up, put on the ground.
What was he doing?
So when I came in, I come from the north. I see him cross this street, Prouty.
What was he doing? Uh-oh. What was he doing? That's a good question. What was he doing? Oh, shit. And now whatever cops have skills, to hear perps or suspects acting sussy as fuck, he can tell when his coworker's being sussy as fuck or colleague. Let's hear it.
I come from the north. I see him cross this street, Prouty, in the alleyway. He's walking down. When I turn to go put my stuff up, they don't come out at Noble. I get my stuff to go, and I move my pickup around back, and they're hanging around like the back over there. Where the where TGC is and stuff? They're hanging around over there. I don't know what they're doing. So Joaquin finds him. Joaquin's talking.
Okay. Is he going to ask him, did you actually see him do anything bad? Did you actually see him commit a crime? Do you actually think, is that the next question? Let's find out.
And he's like, I don't have to tell y'all anything. I said, dude, like, you're being detained. Hold on. I said, what is you give me your ID? He's like, I ain't giving you my ID. I don't give you shit. I don't have it. I said, okay, what's your name and date of birth? And he said, I don't have to tell you shit. Something like that. So I said, all right, go ahead, turn around and put your hands behind your back. I'll take you in for failure to identify. Like, you're being detained. Like, I don't.
Do you think this is enough for a lawsuit by the man? I would imagine so, right? I don't think you can charge cops with crimes. I don't know how qualified immunity works. Like, I don't know if you could charge them for like a kidnapping or like an assault or whatever. But you wouldn't care as an individual. You would want civil liability for these things. So I would imagine you should be able to file a complaint and either get a payout from the state from the complaint or do like a civil suit, I would imagine, and settle the civil suit. That's what I would imagine. You just got assaulted. You just got flipped on your ass in front of your autistic fucking kid, right? For no fucking reason. And the whole thing is caught on footage from start to finish. Like, I would imagine that's an easy settlement from the city. I would imagine. But I don't know. Maybe there are reasons why it wouldn't be.
I don't know. I was fixing to tell Joaquin, like, you know, if we can kind of get the situation where we can go over there to TGC and see what's going on and make certain nothing's out of the ordinary. He's like, we're just out walking, man. We walk every day. Okay, that's cool. But how much crap goes on in these alleys, Jarrett?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know.
So, he wouldn't turn around and put his hands behind his back. So he got the old jerk, kick your feet out from underneath you right in front of his kid. I hate to be that way. 4th of July, you know what I mean?
I mean, why is he out 6 o'clock in the morning with his kid?
Says he gets up every morning at 4 and walking around. You ever seen him?
No.
Me neither.
No, and I call out those when I'm doing too.
Yeah.
I purposely drive down.
I don't think I'm out of the scope of my job, do you?
No. I mean, we've been told to extra patrol because of issues in the alleys, and now we're checking out somebody that's
In the
same.
Oh, they're both coping. No, I don't think so. They told us to do this, didn't they? Oh no.
Fucking alley.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had break-in, we've got graffiti, we've got reports of drug stuff.
Yeah. He's got one side of Woods, custard case. Yeah.
Yeah, that popped up, and I was like, oh, shit. So Jordan, I was finishing up my 10:15. Jordan,
Yeah, that was your night.
I was nothing, no super fancy. Hey, we disposing of. I'm cutting her brake, not charging her for it. She just.
Dude, if you're in a church now that they're doing evidence correct, it's easier not to take it. Because then we have to put it in there, and then you have to fill out all the paperwork on it, and then they have to fill out a deal, and we have to take it to the state and get it disposed.
Marijuana?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're talking about another case right now, or?
That's the nastiest car ride you've ever taken, man.
I talked to that thing. It wasn't put in the report officially. Told her I was going to dispose of it for her.
There you go.
Cut her brake.
There you go. Yeah. I cut one brake yesterday, no DL.
Hers is suspended and no insurance.
This guy, he had weed in his car, a little bit of weed, but not enough to matter. What you got firing here, brother?
I was testing that out, trying to figure out why it wasn't working.
Did you get it going?
It won't work on 12-volt plugs, so I fuse linked it to the battery. That's what it was.
I got to figure out something with mine. My computer will sit there and go flick, flick, flick. It just flickers.
That's what's happening.
Doesn't the convo point to a failure of training between the two? Oh, I have no idea. It could be any number. We don't know anything enough about the other cop. It sounds like they're kind of coping. He's like covering for his friend, but they're not even covering. It just sounds like they're just coworkers that realize they fucked some shit up. But I mean, I have no idea. I don't know anything. I don't know enough about the other cop.
They ran it to any of your plugs with shit wiring or too much wiring. You know how before they put all those butt joints in it, kills your ohms or over whatever. That's what was happening because this was going on, and that would fry your computer. So don't let it stay doing that because that pulse will fry the laptop battery.
Well, what I figured out, the best thing to do was take it inside, put it on. Tonga 5 just waiting on 44 returns.
Right there, we're still on hold with Woods County. Chester County also advised they have one valid 44 or bondable.
Was clear. I don't know. Let's see. But yeah, I took it inside and let the battery charge, and it quit. If I get the battery above 80%, it quits. And so I think what it is, the computer battery gets drained so much. You know what I mean?
Well, it doesn't do it until something that happens. Charging it didn't have a problem. As soon as my friends died, I just
I love this shit.
Okay.
Dude, if you ever need some, holler at me. I buy it in a roll about this big. I get one.
Bracelets, and I got kind of stupid with it, so I probably got one every color. And
I want a shotgun sling, but I want it to be somewhat adjustable.
Okay, I don't do dog research shotgun thing. It'll take forever.
If he did resist and subdued the cop, would he be fine? Assuming the other cop doesn't kill him or whatever. I mean, yeah, you can kill cops and be fine if you're in the legal right. It's just you're in a really risky situation at that point. Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, remember, he shot first at the cop. He was the first one that fired, I believe, at the police officers that were trying to no-knock his house. And I don't believe he was even charged with a crime. And then I think there was a black guy, I want to say within a couple months after Breonna Taylor, who I think he was either getting swatted or cops tried to break into his house for something. And I think he shot and killed the cop that was coming in. And I don't even think he got charged with a crime. So yeah, if a cop is fucking right, but the issue is that like, typically it's just you're in a spooky world when you're in a life or death fight with a cop.